Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller.
It's Gav.
And today, we're talking about Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Thunder came out with the W. I think Shai had about 34 points in that one. So the first question I want to ask you is, what was the difference in this game and the Thunder pulling it out and not choking the lead rather than Game 1?
I just think it was a must-win for the Thunder. They're undefeated after a loss.
Yeah.
You had Wiggins, Caruso both dropping 20. Defensively, they didn't turn them over as much, but they sped the Pacers up.
Yep.
I thought Pacers looked good at times, but it's pretty evident if the Pacers get over 110, they've won in this playoffs, undefeated. If they are under 110, they will lose. So it'll be interesting to see how those sides clash. Indiana's offense, with a strong end of the game, won that battle in Game 1. Obviously, they did not. They ended up getting 113, but
it was
that's
not, just them, they
blowout. Yeah, and they got it at the end, but so I would just say that. And when a good team like OKC is in a must-win game and the other team really isn't, I think that's a difference. And I think just Tyrese Haliburton and Pascal Siakam both have to be better. I wouldn't really. Neesmith showed up. Nembhard had a good start.
Yeah,
I just think the two best players have to be better, and I think they will.
Okay. I just thought, like you said, our defensive intensity was on top. I thought that was a top 3 defensive performance of this playoff so far against one of the most high-powered offenses. But this is going to be a series, man, because there were multiple times in this game yesterday even where I'm thinking, are they about to make another comeback? I think we went up 20 in the second
12,
quarter,
cut it to 14.
and then they cut it to 13 within maybe literally a minute.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what this team can do, and you can't cut a team that is always at their best out of the game. And once again, when these guys can score, there's too many offensive options. Everyone Indiana puts on the court can score the basketball.
Exactly.
So this game, this series, in my opinion, is nowhere near over. But in my opinion, the highlight of yesterday was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah.
It's getting to a point to where he is legitimately unguardable. To a point to where there is no scout other than you have to send multiple bodies at him. And honestly, I think Rick Carlisle will adjust in the next coming games.
You saw him at times go to that Denver Nuggets zone. I think that might be a good thing.
And
I've been said
if I'm the opposing coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder, the defensive game plan should be for those other guys to hit, catch, and shoot threes because you don't see that on a regular basis. Yesterday, Caruso stepped in, hit a good amount of threes. Aaron Wiggins, the man who saved basketball, stepped in, had around 17 points, I believe. Lou Dort had a good shooting night in Game 1. So we are getting guys involved. Shai was a little bit less aggressive, more passive in getting guys involved early in the game. So that's going to be important for this offense. But I just think there's more the level of play fluctuates more with the Thunder as far as their floor and their ceiling than the Pacers, which makes this, once again, a very intriguing series because we know what we're going to get from the Pacers every single night. And this is no fluke of a team. They have 8 guys they put on the court that can score the ball. Any team would love to have every single one of those 8 guys. But Thunder, they're going to have off nights. Some nights they're not going to have as many turnovers. Some nights they're still going to lock you down. It's going to be different. So we're going to have to see what happens. Do you think Tyrese Haliburton needs to be more aggressive?
I just think he needs to make the few shots that he shot.
Yeah.
This is not a guy that, he can, but this is not a guy that wants to go for 30 every night. I think the 15 points he's averaging a game right now is fine.
Absolutely.
I think it's the assist that he's averaging 6 assists. If he gets that to 9 or 10, I think that's where he's at his best.
Yeah.
So I would say he needs to, and it's hard with OKC's defense, but the playmaking just needs to stay the same. And Tyrese Haliburton is one player where, as bad as he's playing, will not shoot a bad shot. While you see the best scorers, rightfully so, a Luka, a Shai, even a LeBron, where if they're struggling, it's like you can just tell in their eyes, like, all right, this one's going up, and they're gonna finally score. They're gonna
score their way out.
Exactly. While Haliburton, it's like, oh, okay, I don't have it.
Yeah.
And he had a great fourth quarter, a little empty calorie, but other than that, he played bad in the first 3 quarters offensively.
Absolutely.
And he's going to run the pick and roll. If Miles Turner's open, he's just going to throw it. He's going to make the right play every time. And this doesn't show up on his stat sheet, but the way Tyrese Haliburton plays, even though he played so terrible, the way he plays still allows Neesmith to go off. Still allows, while other players, when they have a bad night, everyone else has to have a bad night as well, because once again, you said they're going to score their way out of it.
Absolutely.
While Tyrese Haliburton is not going to go out of their system. Yeah. Not going to go out of that at all. So I just think him and Siakam both have to be better.
Absolutely.
A lot of time, I mean, Siakam holding the ball and not shooting, that would have been cut to 3 at the end of the first quarter. Little stuff like that matters when you're making a comeback.
Absolutely.
And they just didn't have it that night. So, yeah.
I think Tyrese Haliburton yesterday showed me the potential as a scorer that he does have. Why does he not shoot more mid-range shots? I don't understand it. He has the float game. Every time he shoots a midi, like, this is an efficient scorer. This is a guy that when he does score low, his field goal percentage doesn't drop with it, because, like you said, he's not a guy that's going to try to shoot himself out of a slump. Yeah, he's just going to shoot the shots that are given to him. Yeah, that's not the way. If we're talking about a superstar, as we have been, the top 10 player, that's not the way to do it. And the thing about Tyrese Haliburton, I've noticed with his stats as well, as those points rise, the assists also rise, the rebounds rise, the engine is almost even brought up better. As far as when he gets less points, he's also getting less rebounds and less assists, and the offensive system just wasn't as effective. And that shows you how important he is, even with the low usage rate, for him to be aggressive and have a high impact on his offense, because otherwise you're going to have games like yesterday where, you're struggling to find points in games where you have to come back from 20. So that's what's going to be interesting. And
in my definition, he's not a superstar, and I don't think he ever will be a superstar. Now, I think maybe popularity-wise, this and that, cool. But I always think Tyrese Haliburton is going to be elite top point guard in the NBA, one of them, but needs that Siakam, that, like I said, that Kevin Durant beside him would be a great fit. Like,
I kind of think he's a superstar in every meaning of the word, actually, though.
Like, I just don't think, like, my definition of superstar is not always just popularity. Yeah. It's also your production.
So you don't think he has had the production to be a superstar?
Well, I think superstars like 4 or 5 players. Like, I wouldn't give 9 players a superstar. Like when I think superstar, I think Jokic, I think Shai, I think Giannis, and then I think.
Yeah, but then you got if you're saying that, you're really cutting the list, because you're at every level. Because after that top 3, in my opinion, it gets to a point to where, like, you're talking about one player, then one player, then one player. Like, you're talking about Luka, and then Ant not on Luka's level, and Tyrese is not on Ant's level. Like, that's kind of how I look at it.
I really think I would throw Luka in there as well, what he did last year, and then, like, you could make an argument if you want to go Tatum for his winning. Yeah. But outside of that, I don't think any of them are there yet. Yes. To say they're superstars. And as much as I love Tyrese Haliburton, and I think he is, like, if you want to start a team and pair better players around, like, that's the point guard I would go with. But I just don't think, like, I have him ranked 7th to 8th with Tatum in my list now, but I don't see how much more he could climb. No. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. I just think I know what he is.
Exactly. Like there's limitations as a separator. Like from Lou Dort, he's gonna strap him as a scorer. Yeah. Now Tyrese Haliburton, the engine and the IQ, he's gonna get his way regardless, because, like you said, he is probably a top 10 to 12 player. But there's just limitations as far as he's not going to increase your floor. Now, your ceiling, he's going to increase tremendously, because if you put players around him, they're all going to be better. They're all going to be enhanced. Now, if you put him on a team like...
Put him on Charlotte.
He doesn't look like... He looks like LaMelo Ball. Yeah. Is what he or probably worse than LaMelo Ball, because he doesn't have the assets to make better like LaMelo. So that's the point guard that he is, and that's a good thing. He's a winner.
Yes, so
we don't say that to discredit him.
It's almost like... It's Chris Paul-like, honestly, but I think he is a better passer from the standpoint of, I wouldn't give him just better passer yet with all Chris Paul's accomplishments, but I think he's the first player I've ever seen to not pass for assists. Like, he's just pitching the ball. Like, I would love to see his hockey assist stats, because he doesn't always just pass for assists. No. He will pass just to get the next guy open to hit the next guy, which you don't see a lot. Like, see Lonzo Ball do it a little bit. Yeah. And I think that might be a great fit to sign as a
anybody
backup.
Who wants Lonzo.
If Lonzo would be healthy. But, yeah, I just think Tyrese Haliburton, like I said, I think, like, as high as I have him, I don't know how much higher he could get. And that's just because that's not his game. I think if he were to score 30 a night, and I do think if he upped his shot attempts, he could score 30 a night in this league, and I think it would translate to nothing.
I think... I agree with that first.
Like, I don't know. Because Because if Tyrese does what he can do at his max offensively, you don't have Nembhard doing what he's doing.
Yes.
You don't have Miles Turner as effective as a perimeter scorer and getting downhill, getting to the paint.
By the way,
that dunk he had. He's an underrated dunker.
How do we not replay that dunk? How do you
He's
not
an underrated dunker.
Dunk?
Like his career dunks are like
it's ridiculous. Didn't he dunk? Who did he dunk on the Celtics? He dunked on the Celtics one time, I swear. I think he dunked on Gordon Hayward.
He dunked on Gordon Hayward. That was crazy. But the one against Giannis this year
underrated,
was crazy. He's an underrated dunker. Yeah. All his dunks look the same, but they're powerful.
Absolutely. I think Tyrese Haliburton, though, going back to what we were talking about, I think there's a world, and this team is so young and built for the future that they can make like maybe 4 or 5 more conference finals at least in this Eastern Conference, and he doesn't win a single Finals MVP or a single Eastern Conference Finals. Not a single.
I see what
not
you're saying.
A single,
well, they showed in the conference finals they just care about points.
Yeah, and it does. But that's the thing. No one looked at Tyrese Haliburton not getting that award as a detriment, which is crazy because last year Jason Tatum didn't get that award, and it was the world is falling apart.
Yeah.
But this year,
it's like I think it's all about media narratives.
Yeah.
Because whether the numbers don't lie, that Jason Tatum played better than Shai did in the conference finals. Last year's conference finals, he shot the exact same percentage. He averaged 1 less point. He averaged way more rebounds and assists.
Yeah.
And defensively, I would put them on the same tier. Yeah. Tatum can guard more positions.
Yeah.
So I think it's very media-driven, media narratives, because as much criticism as Tatum got.
I don't think it is, though.
I think it is.
Because if it was media-driven, Haliburton would have got it.
No. But what I'm saying is, but it's media driven as in what they care about, though.
Yeah,
because
I understand.
Shai won't get the criticism because he's wanted as a scorer.
Yeah,
like so if Shai were to drop 34 and just had even not so good percentages this series, which he's having great percentages, like he was still like. He would get attention. Yeah. If that makes sense. While Tatum, if he just gets 25 and just like I just think
I think in the series last year, the thing that put Jaylen Brown over the top was it felt like all of his buckets were more timely. And that's where you are right with the media driven. It's like, okay, the stats are comparable enough to where you can make an argument for a guy that was.
And he also did guard Luka Doncic very well.
Exactly. So
like that,
he took on those challenges.
And I was really just saying conference finals.
Yeah.
Like Tatum, like you have more of an argument for the Finals MVP for Brown, but you don't have a good argument for
the conference finals.
The conference finals.
Well, what I was gonna say though is I wasn't even saying that about Tyrese Haliburton. I say Tyrese Haliburton can get. I said the Pacers. Okay, let's start here. I think the Pacers in the next 10 years can reach about 4 or 5 Eastern Conference Finals with this young core.
Maybe. Only thing I would say is they're already over the luxury tax next year.
Okay, well that's bad. So if they can keep around, guys, some at least Nembhard
and him and Siakam are on a max, so it gets tricky to pair. Like Nembhard's only making $3 million this year.
Yeah,
but he's making 18 next year.
Yeah. Well, they'll be able to keep some of those guys. It's gonna depend, but I think there's a world where you can keep Siakam for as long as he's going to be a great number 2. And then Benedict Mathurin is 22 years old. There is a world where Benedict Mathurin in this league could be the number 1 on that Indiana team with a Tyrese Haliburton that could still be the quote-unquote best player, but your best scorer is Benedict Mathurin, who, first off, is an amazing defender. He guarded Shai amazingly yesterday. Shai is just like that. But Benedict Mathurin, like, I'm sorry.
He's talented.
He's talented, bro. And he's a guy that averaged 16 points. He's 22 years old. And I know Anthony Edwards got the league messed up right now, making 2 conference finals at the age of 23. He's a different player. But Benedict Mathurin, I think, has a very high ceiling. And, some guys are going to have to get moved. I think the guy that probably get moved out of this group, maybe Nesmith. That's the guy who they would least likely. You think they would keep Nembhard or Nesmith?
Nembhard. You got to get rid of like guys like Ben Shepherd. I think another guy that has another level he can tap into is Obi Toppin.
Oh yes,
Toppin and Benedict Mathurin. I'm interested to see the best version of them.
Especially
with Haliburton. Yeah, I think that's the one thing that's intriguing about Indiana is any prospect they get will be as a scorer. Yeah, will be at their best.
Yeah, absolutely.
There would be no excuse to go to Indiana and not pan out.
I think there's a serious likelihood based on their depth that the guy they could let go of is Pascal Siakam because he has the highest value as far as contract, and you got a guy in Obi Toppin, and if, like you said, he does develop, he can step into that role, and then you could build depth with the assets you get from a Pascal Siakam move. So that would be interesting to see. Now that's depth. This is speaking way into the future. Like this is when they have to absolutely make moves. We're not saying he should be moved.
Yeah, but he does take up a max contract, and it's
Yeah, so
you got to build a team, not players.
Absolutely. Game 3, real quick. Who do you think is going to win that game?
OKC.
Okay, me too.
I think they split though.
Actually, I think Indy will win this one. I think it's going to be a different type of home court, and I think this is the last game Indy wins in the series.
We did say OKC in 6.
Yeah,
I think it comes down to that game 6 in Indy.
Yeah.
But I just don't see it going 5.
I don't see us winning 3 straight. Yeah. I don't see us winning 2 in Indy is my thing with these two. So
and I just don't see it going to 5. Like I see it going 6 or 7, like I told you at the beginning.
Absolutely.
Like I think it's more likely to go 7 than it was 6.
Yeah.
Like, and I said that at the beginning, but I have it.
I'm convinced at this point, but I'm literally like the meter right now. I'm at 6 games. Like I think it's going to be 6 games
for sure. If we were to get a game 7,
I wouldn't like that, but I would. But it would be cool to win on Oklahoma City.
You have stake. The basketball fan in me.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, this finals already has, like you said, it's been the best at least since the Suns one for me.
Yeah.
The Suns Bucks one was pretty fun. So thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace out.